Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name's Adam Van Bavel. I'm with Biobuzz, and we're proud to bring you today's event with Lonza. It's our virtual recruiting event. We have a dynamic panel for you today. It's going to be talking all about the positions available, their culture. You're going to get to hear firsthand the experience from people who have been with the company for years, as well as people who've just recently started their journey. So we're really excited today. We appreciate you joining us. And a quick little intro to Biobuzz if you're unfamiliar with us. Biobuzz, our mission is to better connect individuals and organizations in the biotech and life science industry in this region. If you have not been a visitor of our website before or a subscriber to our newsletter, please visit biobuzz.io. We have news, jobs, and events throughout the region that allow you to strengthen your career and better connect with your peers. With that being said, a few housekeeping tips for today. If you scroll towards the bottom of the panel of your toolbar, you'll see chat functionality, which you can use to engage with the other individuals that are part of this event. You can use the Q&A to ask questions. So the whole point of today is to learn more about Lonza, the individuals that work there, the roles they're hiring for, and also to be able to ask questions and have your questions answered. And lastly, we're going to be having some polls throughout the event. So if you see a poll pop up, please take a moment, make sure you engage with that poll. One final thing, we will also be sending out a survey at the end of this event. We want to make sure that we've answered all your questions and that you found value in attending today. So please take a moment to take that survey for us. We'd really appreciate it. So with that being said, don't want to delay any longer. I'm going to kick this off today with the site head at Lonza for the Walkersville location, Mr. Philip Kunti. And Philip has been with Lonza for 14 years. He's got a great background. He started off as a plant chemist for many years, worked his way up to an assistant plant manager, and now he's the site head at the Walkersville site, which is where we're hiring for today. So really excited to have him and all the rest of the panelists with us here today. We appreciate you joining us and look forward to sharing with you here today. Philip, take it away.
I think it's really very important to set the scene in the right way, that in the end, if we want to be successful, we need to have the right people. Seriously, because Lonza might very well be exactly the place you want to be. So learn, ask questions, and I want to share you a couple of things about the company. The company has been founded more than 120 years ago. So there's a lot of history, a lot of experience, a very clear set of values. And still, even if it's 120 years old, there is a lot of innovation, a lot of ingenuity. So that means it's exactly the place to be. And if we talk about what Lonza is doing, obviously a lot of customer manufacturing work. So that means we support our customers to ultimately help the patients. And there's a lot of value in doing that. And a lot of times we are talking about very technical things. We are a science-driven company, but it's so important to always think about, in the end, there is a patient, and this patient is going to benefit from the work we are doing every day. So we're really creating a difference for a lot of people in the world. So saying that, creating a difference means yes, we need to work hard. We need to work scientifically, data-driven, but it's a lot about the people, how we work together. So the collaboration piece, I think it's the most important element, with a clear set of values, to be agile, to be synchronized and in sync with our customer needs to deliver the material to our customers. But always think about what's next. What is the next improvement? What's the next kind of way of working together? And what's the next product we can produce and the way we can produce it for our customers? So Lonza overall as a company is probably in more or less all the different technologies that are at the moment used in the pharma industry. So it's small molecules, It's mammalian, it's cell and gene therapy. And when it comes to Walkersville, it's media for cell growth. And it's also all the testing, the LAL testing kits that are widely used in the industry. And especially now, as everybody is talking about vaccines, I think our products are becoming more and more relevant all over the globe. And I think that's really an extremely interesting way and an extremely interesting place to be. So again, don't hesitate to ask questions while we are talking, but especially also then in the end in the chat. Maybe just one additional point. In a manufacturing site as Walkersville, there are all these functions. You see all the open positions. And in the end, it really depends whether we are able to produce a high quality product. So high quality product means working very close together with our QA department and having a science-driven manufacturing functionality. So by saying that, I'm more than happy to hand over to Cheryl. Cheryl is working in our QA department. It's a pleasure to work with her. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions related to quality. So by that, I really hand over to you, Cheryl, for your next turn.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Philip, for the introduction. And I'd like to take a moment just to start and thank all of you for joining us here today. If you're like me, sometimes you get pulled in many directions and time is valuable. So the fact that you carved out time for us today here at Lonza, that's really important to us, and we definitely appreciate that. As Philip said, my name is Cheryl Mowen. I am the acting interim director, site head of quality for media division. And I want to stress the media division in that because we are separated by two platforms here, media and LAL kits, as Philip mentioned. And I have a counterpart as well for the acting interim site head of quality, and that's Kara Schulter, and she's over that LAL division. I've been at Lonza for over 2 years now. And when I started at Lonza, I started as the head of quality control, and I've been able to move into this interim role. So I think that's important to mention, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more, that the growth of our people is definitely something that's important here at Lonza. I have over 20 plus years of experience in this industry. I like to use that plus term because if I put a number to that, I feel that ages me. So, you know, I'm going to stick with just 20 plus at this point. All 20 of those years, though, I've focused on nothing but quality in those 20 some years. I've worked with monoclonal antibodies, peptides, small molecules, drug substance, drug product, even vaccines at one point, you know, and now in this media division here at Lonza. How would I describe a typical day for me at Lonza? You know, really, it's an expected day for what I would be in my position. So obviously it's going to come with meetings, but that's not a bad thing. You know, meetings are part of defining our scope, our passion, you know, where we're moving as a company. Some things that might be different for me, though, in my day is every day when I start my day, I like to reflect on that previous day, and then things that I got from that day, I make sure they're built into part of my plan for this day. I try to make a positive connection every single day. And the reason I do that, it's genuine, number one. But secondly, trust is important. I want to make sure that everyone in quality, we can, you know, or even across the site, is we have a trust with each other and that they can also trust me in return, because that's valuable. I'm always learning in this position every day. And I try to make sure that each month I pick something that I'm going to focus on so that I can learn more. And what I mean by that is, you know, our days are very busy, but when I pick an area to focus on, it's an area where I can then truly connect with that area. I can learn more. I can help identify roadblocks, talk to people, help identify gaps so that we can become stronger together. Together is important. And then lastly, at the end of my day, I like to leave work at work. And that's something that I strongly value. And I value that for everyone that's in quality as well. Family is important, rest, that taking time to recharge. Those are important because at the end of the day, that makes you a better employee for Lonza. So that's something that's valuable. So if you were to ask me why choose Lonza, I could give you a whole list of things, and I'll throw some out of there, but some of them are really important things. And, you know, some of the most important things that stand out to me is I have a voice. When you have a voice in your where you work, that's invaluable. Your opinion matters at Lonza, and your opinion is respected. We are making a difference. We're making a difference one step at a time, but we are progressing. And being a part of that difference, that's a feeling like no other. We value the growth of our employees. People are definitely a priority here that I'm going to, you know, expand on a little bit more. And we have initiative for our people. There's definitely a work-life balance, which I feel is essential in your career. Safety is definitely a priority at our site. We have various committees here at Lonza that I think speak to our culture. You know, we have a WOW committee that is doing, you know, various functions throughout the year for our employees. We have ambassadors. We have a diversity and inclusion committee. We do have a rewards program. And just a little bit about the benefits. I feel like Lonza offers benefits in their package that I haven't experienced at other jobs. For example, I've never been offered pet insurance in any other job except Lonza. Identity theft protection is offered here. And in this day and age, that's something that's very important. And I think that's very progressive for Lonza Walkersville to offer to our employees. And the last thing that I would mention about why Lonza is, and it might be little to some, but I think it's, you know, it's important to reflect. And every week there is a weekly highlights that's sent out. And essentially that's basically a newsletter that covers what has happened over that span of a week's time. So it highlights, you know, some rewards that might have happened and some important things. And I think it's always good to look at what we have done in that week and what we can then do to move forward. So it might be little, but I think it also speaks to our culture. So I've mentioned several times about the growth of our people and that people matter here at Lonza. So when I think of that, you know, two things really stand out to me. I could talk about some of the fun things at Lonza, but I'm hoping that the rest of the panelists are going to cover some of those things. So I want to focus on two things that truly stand out to me. And the first one, and this is something that we all hear a lot about, and that's COVID-19. The response that Lonza Walkersville had for COVID-19 is absolutely stellar. There was an immediate plan of action before it was even widely discussed. There was an immediate plan of action. Lonza Walkersville always erred on the side of our people. And I think that's very, very important. There has been open, direct communication in regards to the corona response here at Lonza Walkersville. And it has truly showcased that Lonza Walkersville cares about their people and their well-being. And I think when people are a priority, that's always important. And then the second part that I want to touch on that really stands out to me in regards to our people is, you know, we truly want to grow our people. And if it's growing within Lonza Walkersville, that's invaluable as well. And one of the panelists that's going to speak to you today is one that really stands out to me for growth of our people. There was a supervisor in quality control when I started here, and she was absolutely a role model in her role. She aspired to move to, you know, the quality assurance side of quality. Excuse me. And so she moved into a quality systems lead role where she's involved in audits. And again, I'm sure she's going to talk to you about that. In that capacity, again, always a role model, taking on additional responsibility. She's always eager to learn. And she truly interacts well with her people. All of that has led to an additional growth where she's now working in an interim capacity over the quality systems unit. And, you know, I feel she's going to continue to grow within Lonza Walkersville. So I can't say it enough to all of you that people are a priority at Lonza Walkersville, and, you know, their growth is invaluable. So if anything that I have said resonates with you, we have lots of positions. Well, I shouldn't say lots. We have a few positions open in quality control and also in quality assurance. And I would encourage you to reach out to me. Please don't hesitate. I would love to talk to you about any of those opportunities, or even if it's just a dialect over, what Lonza might have to offer, or again, about our culture. Please reach out to me by any of the means like LinkedIn, email, and I would be happy to talk to you about any of those. So that concludes my part, but I'm going to now turn it over and I'm going to introduce to you Fred Billingsley. So Fred is also part of the quality team here at Lonza Walkersville. He's new to Walkersville, however, he's not new to Lonza. And Fred can speak to maybe a little bit about that, and he was happy to return to Lonza. So that's an important piece to that. He has an extensive background in quality. He's a funny guy. He's definitely witty. I'm actually envious of his wit. We've connected in quality in a short time, and I truly value his contributions. Please don't share that with Fred. I want to make sure that I can, keep him on his toes a little bit. Just kidding. No, I will now turn it over to Fred and introduce you here to Fred Billingsley. Thank you, everyone.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Cheryl, for those glowing remarks. I really appreciate it. And you are correct. I am witty. You forgot handsome, but no, we won't go there. That's fine. Good afternoon. My name is Fred Billingsley, and I am the head of quality for media operations. I have often been asked by my friends and family, what is it that you do? Explain, a typical day for you. Sarcastically, which, if people know me, I'm sarcastic most of the time. I always say, I answer a few phone calls, go to a few meetings, go have lunch at our bio barn and go home. That's it. It's pretty good. Unfortunately, it's not always that easy. It's actually never that easy. But the real answer is yes. I mean, like Cheryl alluded to, you always have your meetings, the conference calls, especially in this time of COVID. There's no personal meeting. So for me, it makes it really difficult. I like to have that personal connection with somebody. For me, over video doesn't really work that well, but we're all doing what we can do. Probably the only normal part of my day is the phone calls and the meetings. Other than that, working in a dynamic manufacturing environment like Lonza, it's challenging just because of the sheer amount of manufacturing that we do on a daily basis. Interacting with manufacturing, which we interact on a daily basis, quality control, MS&T, facilities and engineering, to sit down and understand the complex issues that we're dealing with, and collaborating on on a solution that everybody's agreeing to is what keeps me coming back day after day. Being the head of a fantastic quality group is really rewarding in its own right. And I like, I'm a practice what you preach kind of guy, and I work with them as they review and approve master batch records, testing and overseeing of aseptic operations, and that is led by our QA on the floor individuals. Working through those issues with the people that I work with on a daily basis, while challenging, is very rewarding. At the end of the day, building those relationships, not only with my team, but my internal customers as well as the external customers, for me, is what being in quality is all about. Cheryl said that I used to work for Lonza before. I did. There have been a number of people in the same position as me that have left Lonza and have come back. I happen to be one of them. I'd worked at the Portsmouth site for about 7.5 years, and I loved what I did. I did leave there to understand a new way of doing things and explore what other quality organizations do. I felt for me, understanding more than just one way to do things would make me a better all-around person for this. People will tell you that leaving a place is easy. You can just walk out, pack up, and leave. That's not a problem. It's leaving the people that you've worked with for a long time and those relationships that you've built. That's really the hardest part. And it was no different for me. When I was approached, several months ago, I've only been employed here for the second time since October 5th. I was excited, and I knew that, it was time for me to come back. In the last 8 years since I left Lonza, I feel I have grown as a person, and I've learned a lot concerning, not only quality methods, but also utilizing a risk-based quality approach, which I use day to day in everything that I do. I honed stronger collaboration, as well as communication skills for myself and the people that I interact with daily. Being a hiring manager, and like Cheryl said, I strongly believe that promoting from within, developing your people, is the best way to retain strong employees as well as grow your leaders. But leveraging different experiences of a new employee can make all the difference. Just to reiterate, like I said, important events like this from BioBarn are really important in order to bring in new talent, because it is that new talent that really does, help us, especially people that have been in a position for a while, bringing, stuff that they know, stuff that they've done. It makes us more of a well-rounded organization. We really appreciate stuff like that. So if you like a fast-paced environment, building relationships, contributing to the success of a global company, then Lonza might be the right place for you, and this might be the right time. I want to thank you for your time. I apologize for the mute, but at least you got to look at this. So that's well worth its weight in gold. And I look forward to discussing any questions that you might have at the end of this event. Okay, now I'm going to pass you over to Katie Williams, who is actually one of the only people that I know that can tell you what type of cow that chocolate milk comes from. Katie?
Thank you, Fred. Hi, my name is Katie Williams. I'm the asset head for the media manufacturing group at the Walkersville site. So my team produces powder and liquid media. So that consists of many things. It consists of weighing chemicals, and we have big equipment to blend and mill chemicals for our powders. We also do large liquid bulk media formulations, and then we have a team that aseptically fills those medias in clean rooms. And then the last piece of that is that we have the actual final packaging piece. So the labeling and boxing of the media we produce in bottles, bags, vials. We have a very dynamic portfolio. So always the team is making something different for our customers. So we are comprised of a large team. We have managers, we have supervisors, manufacturing associates with different expertise. And then we also have technical roles that are new to this group, and they are roles that are focused on supporting the process and leading process improvement initiatives. The media team has a large journey to go of really improving a lot of things. We brought in these roles to really take our performance and make our processes better and sort of take those to the next level. So I was going to share a little bit today with you about my personal journey. Just to kind of show that, there are a lot of really good growth and development opportunities at Lonza. So I have actually worked for Lonza for almost 16 years. As Fred alluded to, I am a lifelong Frederick County resident, grew up on a dairy farm, hence the chocolate milk. So, it was really, I went to school locally as well. So it was really great to have a company such as Lonza, that I could, live locally and continue to work close by. So I actually, I joined Lonza in R&D as a research associate. And I will say 20 years ago when I started my career, which I started at the National Cancer Institute, I really had no clue what else I could do with a degree in the science field. So I kind of had myself set on being in the lab for the rest of my life. And then I came to Lonza and I was like, wow, there's so much more to all the science stuff than just sitting in the lab and, doing experiments. And, I will say my experience is that, I was very eager to learn and take on new things. And so I was always willing to sign up for something that was maybe outside of my role or outside of my group. And it really gave me that exposure to show what potential I had to others. So after about 5 years in R&D, I actually moved into the operational excellence. I had the opportunity to get both my green belt and my black belt through Lonza. And in doing those, I also got to travel to some of the other Lonza sites, such as the site in Switzerland, which is awesome. So I did in operational excellence. I worked both as a project manager, and then I even had the opportunity to lead the team and join the site leadership team. I did a little in between there. I also did a role in supply chain as well. And then about 2019, I ended up in this asset head role, which is my favorite role since I've been here. And I'd almost say probably my dream job, the 14 or so years leading up to it. One of the greatest things, and one of the reasons I stay at Lonza, is the people. And it's both the local culture at the Walkersville site, but also the global network. And I've really had the opportunity to be able to, grow my relationships both at the site and globally. And for a little farm girl, right, that's been pretty exciting for me to be able to travel various places and meet all kinds of new people. The people at the site are just really wonderful. They're genuine, they care about each other, they support each other, and quite frankly, they're the most tenacious group of people I've ever met. The site has been through a lot, and they just keep chugging along, and it honestly feels like family at the site every day when I go there, despite everything that we go through. One of the most exciting things about working at Lonza is the constant ability to take on a new challenge, right? So I can honestly tell you I've never been bored in my 16 years at Lonza. There's always something new, and if you don't have something inside your role, there's plenty of other opportunities that you can raise your hand and say, I'd like to participate in that. So the opportunities are really limitless if you want to work hard and enjoy trying things, different things, and putting yourself out there. Some of the other, so a little bit about media. So back when I was in operational excellence, I got the opportunity to really focus on supporting the media team. And I will tell you, this team has always had a very special place in my heart. I think my team pretty much knows that about me as well. And it was interesting because back then, when I'm just this person that they didn't know show up on the floor, hey, I'm going to help you fix your process. They were a little, unsure about me, and they were a little bit, slow to trust me. And, and this speaks a lot for the people. I knew I had finally made it to their inner circle when they sang me happy birthday over the loudspeaker in finishing. I was pretty embarrassed, but I thought, I think I've connected with this team. And I will say, ever since then, I wanted to be a part of this team, and I'm, very excited to be with them now. I have seen this team go, whether I was leading them or not, go through many changes and challenges, both from a people and a process perspective. We have a really solid foundation of a team right now, and we're actively working on some plans, right, focused on our people and our customer focus, building stronger relationships with our cross-functional, our support groups, and really, wanting to work together to sort of take things to the next level. It is a very dynamic and fast-paced environment, but and we work hard, but we really enjoy and have fun doing it, and we enjoy working hard together. I am extremely honored to lead this team. And I'm very committed to this team, both, to make their day-to-day easier, right? And to seeing individual team members grow and being able to take on new challenges at Lonza like I have. So if being a part of the media's journey intrigues you, please feel free to reach out to me. We have all kinds of positions open right now, from supervisor to manufacturing associates to the process ops specialists. And it's a very exciting time. And I always, like having new people on the team with new ideas, new fresh perspectives to help point out things so we can make our day-to-day better. So with that, I'm going to introduce my peer and friend, Andy Kelly, AKA Sir Fix-a-Lot. Andy has been integral to the site's journey, and I have worked with Andy in various different capacities. It's really my privilege to work with him. He is so committed as well to his people and to the site and really bringing forth improvements. So with that, I will thank you for your time, and I will turn it over to Andy.
All right, thank you, Katie, for the introduction. Sir Fix-a-Lot. Maybe if we have time at the end, I'll break into my rendition of Baby Got Bacteria. Sorry, I got to work on my dad jokes. But anyway, my name's Andy Kelly. I am the Senior Manager of QC Microbiology, also currently acting as the QC Head while Cheryl's supporting her QA activities. I'm also the ACO, the Asset Centric Organization Head for Supply Chain. So a little bit about QC Micro, what are we responsible for? So QC Micro runs the environmental monitoring program, so the EM program. We also are in charge of the microbial identification program, so identifying to species level some of the microbes that we might get back from different samples throughout our facility. We also are in charge of the aseptic processing screening. We run the site microbial control strategy, which is important in making sure we're keeping aseptic practices in every area. We also do sampling testing of all the utility systems. So clean steam, WF5, purified water, clean compressed gas. We also run the gowning validation program. So if somebody wants to or is required to enter our clean rooms, we want to make sure that they are practicing aseptic gowning practices, and so we sample them, make sure they're cleared to go in. We also last year took over management of the clean room cleaning program. So we have a group of contractors that clean all of our clean rooms, which is an incredibly important job, and so we provide oversight to that group. We also lead technical investigations, which actually is a big part of our job. We have some positions that are strictly focused on that. So any technical investigations related to environmental issues. We perform room qualification. So we're a growing site. We have lots of projects going on. We have new clean rooms in the works. And so to bring those up, to make those fit for manufacturing use, we have to qualify the area. So my team can go in and perform all the sampling, all the analysis of the data, and make sure that we're good to go there. And then also we own and we manage the MODA system. So some of you might be familiar with MODA. It's an advanced software platform that houses all of our EM data. So not only do we own it at the site level, but Lonza as a whole actually owns and markets MODA. So if you haven't seen that, I definitely encourage to check that out. But for me personally, coming into Lonza, I was so excited to use MODA. It makes the job in QC so much easier to pull that data out, allows us to analyze it. It provides us with charts and trends and graphs. Just makes our job a lot easier in QC Micro. So Micro touches on, QC Micro touches on a lot of areas of business. I'd say almost every area of the site. And that's truly, one of the parts of the job that I really cherish, being able to interact with all these other groups. So, on a typical day, you might see me meeting with manufacturing QA, going over our EM data for the previous month, and we're having these collaborative discussions. And how do we improve the data in the area? Is it increased cleaning? Do we have to change the way that we use the space? And then I might move on to talking about the need to expand our manufacturing capabilities and possibly build new clean rooms. So with that, I'm usually looking through the lens of aseptic processing or microbial control. So it's important again to keep that in mind with everything we do. I'm also very interested in technology in the lab. So for instance, we recently acquired a MALDI system, which essentially is a mass spec instrument that allows us to get species information on any samples from around the site. So we're excited to have that in-house and have that efficiency. We're hoping to get that up and running very soon. And then, you know, perhaps one of the most exciting things about my job, and I don't get to do it as much now as manager, but I still am involved, is investigations. You know, I get to work with manufacturing, with QA, with MSAT, engineering, all these groups across the site, you know, trying to solve a common problem and, you know, identifying a root cause. And one of the most rewarding things to me is identifying that root cause, putting fixes into place, but then seeing the data after we put that fix in place. And that's, to me, a huge payoff. So about 6 years ago is when I started at Lonza. Just before that, my prior job, I wasn't looking for a job, but a recruiter contacted me and talked about, you know, potential position in Lonza Walkersville. And I was familiar with the site. I'd actually, with my previous job, came up to the site, did a site visit, and looked at some of the technology that Lonza had to offer. And I remember leaving that visit with just this awesome impression, not only of the technology, but mostly of the people. You know, kind of what Katie was talking about with that atmosphere, with the warm feeling. And so this recruiter contacted me, and, you know, part of me is saying, okay, well, this Lonza site, you know, they were just nice to me because they wanted to sell me that equipment, and you know, it's just a sales pitch. But I can honestly say, you know, 6 years later, that it's no sales pitch. You know, it's truly a family atmosphere at this place. And honestly, that's what keeps me here. That's what keeps me motivated. Every day I'm working with groups across the site, and you just get that sense that there's this team atmosphere, and we all have a common goal. And, you know, to me, that's what makes me really proud to say I work at Lonza. You know, and also, you know, I think Cheryl and Katie also touched on it, the opportunity. So I always tell, if I interview somebody that's, even if they're right out of college, I always say, look, there's so much opportunity. There's so many projects that we have going on. There's so many efforts going on that you can get involved in. All it takes is just raise your voice and say, I'm interested. You know, that looks interesting to me. We don't have a lot of red tape. There's not a lot of people saying, no, you can't do that. That's how I thrive. And you know, I feel that, you know, somebody coming into the company that has that same passion, they will be rewarded. So with that being said, you know, I'm on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out and connect. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them. But at this point, I'd like to turn it over to the man, as I like to call him, Khalid. He is our QC raw materials manager. Thank you.
How's everybody doing? Andy, thank you for the warm introduction. I appreciate it. Andy and I have been working together for a little while. We're both managers in QC, and the collaboration that we have, you know, I feel better improves the communication and the culture within the group overall. All right, so again, like Andy mentioned, my name is Khalid Ahmad. I currently manage the raw material group as well as stability and the sample logistics team here at the Walkersville site. Have a small group. My group consists of 5 strong talented analysts, which we're looking to add one more. So keep an eye on the website, because we should be posting something soon. They definitely keep me on my toes every day, and I enjoy spending time with them, whether it's virtual or in person, as much as I possibly can. All right. I'm kind of new. I'm one of the newbies, as you would say. I joined the company back in November of 2019. And then one of the main reasons why I joined Lonza is because of Cheryl. Cheryl and I have been working together for probably almost 8 or more years. You know, she's been my manager for when I was an analyst, a young analyst, to now, you know, where I am now. But I joined Lonza because of her. You know, she was a great leader, awesome manager, and a good role model that I've looked up to for a long time. A typical day in the life for me consists of, like everyone else mentioned, you know, your normal meetings, but some of the ones that I really enjoy are the huddles. I start my day off with a morning huddle where I work cross-functionally with different departments to talk about, you know, what samples are coming in, what needs to be released. That way I'm able to give them updates on testing and on testing statuses and updates for certain products, powders or any kind of raw material that they need, the manufacturer needs for processing. So those updates are important. So I try to get those expeditiously. All right. One of the more fun meetings that I have also is later on that day, where we have QC management meetings, or Huddle, should I say, where we get together all QC managers, supervisors, and other team leads, where we talk about what's going on, what's going on throughout the department or throughout the site that might impact us, or any other information that I might need to pass on to my team. All right. Throughout the remainder of the day, I like to generally connect with my team to make sure that everything is flowing the way it's supposed to. No one's running any roadblocks or having any issues. But my favorite meeting of the day would be my daily team huddle that I have with my team. During this huddle, we normally we kick back and we it's more of a relaxed meeting. I kind of encourage that more relaxed vibe, because I don't like anyone getting uptight, because I feel like when people are comfortable, they're able to divulge more information. So we talk about the current workload, what's currently going on as far as testing, like I said, any issues that they might be running into, and then probably we mainly talk about work for like 5 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes of the huddle, we talk about whatever new Netflix series are out right now, or if there's any new shows that I might need to check out. Somebody recently recommended a show called Your Honor. I wasn't really sure about it, but I'm hooked. So that's typically a typical day in the life. When it comes to speaking about the benefits of and everything about Lonza, like I said, over the past 15 years of me being in the industry, I can honestly say Lonza has probably one of the best benefit packages that I've ever had. One of the big things for me, they have I don't know if other companies do this, but they provide an extra $500 towards dependent care FSA. So anyone that has any young children in daycare, you feel my pain. I have 2 in daycare, about to be a 3rd one in the next couple of months. So every little bit helps, So if you're a parent like I am that that has children in daycare, you feel my pain. I would also say that here at Lonza, outside of everyone else mentioned management and how awesome management is, and they are, don't get me wrong, but I can honestly say that I really enjoy the HR team here. I know a lot of folks don't like to, they will avoid going to HR as much as possible. But if anything, I actually enjoy going to HR because they're an awesome team. Any kind of HR related topics, they're always open. Have an open door policy to talk about whatever you need help with, or anything else. Another thing that the company does that I really do appreciate is they have a lot of different training programs for managers. So whether that's leadership training, management training, coaching training, this is information and experience or knowledge, should I say, that I feel I'm gonna take with me through the rest of my management career. So I definitely do appreciate that. When it comes to stories, I've only been at Lonza again for a year and some change, so I don't really have too many stories to share. But I can say, like kind of Cheryl mentioned, she hit on it before when it came to the response that the company had to the COVID pandemic. I would say, it's been hard, with people have been going through different things, various different things, and it's affected them differently. So I can honestly say that, Lonza has been there for the employees. It's been there for, they've been there for the employees 100%, accommodating, whatever issues that they might have, or a lot of times people need to talk about what's going on because, it's affected a lot of people differently. So I can honestly say, that I feel that the company has been more engaging, during this time when a lot of folks are working. Some folks are working on site and other folks are working remotely. They've been even more engaging with encouraging meetings and, working closely more on a virtual standpoint. And a lot of people are a lot more open to that, so yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Lonza. I would definitely say, if there's an opportunity that you feel fits you and speaks to you, I would definitely encourage you to take a look at it. If you would like to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can do so on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. And I'm joking. I'm not on Snapchat, but you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. But yeah. So next up, I would like to introduce Julia. Julia and I actually we've worked together probably for the past 4, 5, 6 years now, here and through other companies. So she's a great counterpart in QA. So Julia Mclean, it's all yours.
Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, I was lucky to work with Clint at my last job, and he's actually one of the people I always think about when I think about someone who really takes their career and goes with the way they want to. I saw him start as a QC analyst. I was in manufacturing, and it's really awesome seeing us both so far in our careers now. And a big contribution of that is, getting to work at a great place like Lonza and having excellent managers. Cheryl's a great manager. She mentioned my manager, Carrie Schulter, who's a fantastic manager as well. So I just started in my most recent role at the beginning of January. I am now the QA supervisor for LAL operations. Their media counterpart is open. So if you really like Fred, he's a great looking dude, but he's also a great manager. So if you want to work with him, highly recommend you apply for that role. But I started here at Lonza in March of 2017. I had worked at another big pharma company before that, as well as a smaller company. I've worked on drug product development, vaccine development, and now here we work on medical device development. I started in manufacturing and have moved my way up through QA. Here I started as a specialist and moved my way up, and now I'm a supervisor. It's been a great 4 years here. Lonza has seen me through a lot of really personal growth as well. Everyone keeps mentioning family. Katie mentioned it, Andy mentioned it. And for me, that's like a big sticking point of why I came here and wanted to stay here. That was one of the key points when I interviewed. Everyone was talking about how everything felt like a family. You had people that had been here for many, many years, had gotten an opportunity to move through many different departments, learn a lot of different things. I was really excited about that, to be able to join a company and be here, at least, 5 to 7 years. There's so many people that have been here for 10 plus years, 20 plus years, because to them, Lonza is family. For me, Lonza has seen me get engaged, get married, and then soon I'll be having my first child. So it's been really exciting to share that with everyone here. I remember when I got engaged, one of my first things after telling my family and my close friends was I could not wait to tell my coworkers, because to them, they were my family. I joke all the time. I have, plenty of work moms and work grandmas. And one story that always sticks out too for me is when I first started here, I think I had been here about 5 or 6 months. One of my colleagues, her husband passed away. And so many people from the company went to the viewing. Even people that no longer worked at Lonza had come back for it. And I just thought that was totally incredible, that it just showed the impact that having those relations at Lonza had created, is that you had people coming back for good and, sad things. So that is such a huge point of why I love Lonza and have stayed here. Is it's just a big family. Our QA group, pre-COVID, we enjoyed monthly potlucks. We would celebrate each other's accomplishments, whether someone, graduated and just got their PhD, whether someone got promoted, or, someone just was like, hey, I'm trying a new diet, so let's all do like a keto themed potluck. Our friend Barb is very much all about the diet, so we like to do little themes with that. So typical day for me, I work primarily with our LAL group. So I work on deviations with them, their corrective actions, change controls, investigations, environmental excursion notices. I had to think of what the full acronym was. So it's definitely a lot of assisting QC and manufacturing to get through those problem records and to keep improving Lonza as a whole. For our QA team, I oversee the people that work, the QA folks that work on the floor that support the manufacturing folks, as well as our clearance team that do primary batch record review, as well as release of materials. I love this new role that I'm in. I love my last role, but I'm excited because I get to work with so many different departments. I get to work with supply chain, manufacturing, QC, MSAT. So it's really nice because you get to meet all these people from these different areas. Another reason why I love working at Lonza is recently we started a diversity and inclusion committee that I am a lead for. You'll hear from Joaquina in a little bit as well. Joaquina is part of that team. And it's great because we share each other's stories. We have people who, you know, different ethnic backgrounds, different ages, different weights. And we talk about the variety of diversity issues. And we're really trying to drive that change here at Lonza to keep making sure Lonza is a very diverse place. So I've really enjoyed being a part of that committee because it's helped me learn even more about the different people that work here. Whether someone works in manufacturing or the warehouse or in QC, it's been just an absolute wonderful place to be. Some other typical things I do on a daily basis is we'll do our deviation review board, which I actually really enjoy because I am a big proponent of learning from your mistakes. So, you know, as much as we'd like to be perfect, we're not. So I really enjoy those meetings because we get to see, you know, kind of what did we screw up on, or, you know, what isn't clear and how can we fix that and make it easier. So our manufacturing associates understand, you know, how to do this process better, or, you know, how can we improve this process in QC. So that's one of my favorite parts of the job, is getting to help people improve. I've worked on several projects that not only help improve the quality here, but have also decreased our costs. So that's been an excellent opportunity. And one final thought before I pass off to our next person is another great thing about here being at Lonza is Khalid was mentioning, you know, all of our benefits. Cheryl's mentioned that. A great thing is our tuition reimbursement program. I took advantage of that. I was working on my master's when I came to Lonza. And so it was great not having to pay, you know, $10,000 in student loans, because Lonza has this great program and I was able to take advantage of that to help support my master's. So I'm very grateful for that because, you know, student loans are not fun. And so having $10,000 less to pay of it has been awesome. So I would give her a better introduction, but Cheryl kind of already did that. So thanks, Cheryl. But up next is Allison Hoffman. So she's been here, probably one of our longest people that you might hear from today. She's been here for over a decade. She was a great subject matter expert in QC. And now we're blessed to have her in quality. So very excited for you guys to hear from her.
Thank you, Julia. Oh my gosh, you guys, you're going to give me a big head. I appreciate the awesome introduction from both Julia and from Cheryl. But as they said, Lonza is a family, so we've all been blessed with the opportunity to work with each other in some way, shape, or form. And I have to say, I honestly miss seeing everyone's faces every day. I've been working remotely since the COVID started, so it's really good to be able to see everybody today. And thank you to everyone for hanging out with us during lunch. It's great to have you here, and we hope that some of you may be able to join the Lonza family someday. So a little background about myself. My name is Allison Hoffman. My current role is as the lead quality compliance for the site. And as Cheryl had previously mentioned, I'm stepping in as an interim role in our quality systems functions as well. Day-to-day operations for me is mainly managing our audit program. So that includes both our internal audits and our regulatory audits, and as well as our customer audits as well. For our customers, that requires quite a bit of communication, quite a bit of coordination from start to finish. There's always something that we have to do in order to keep our customers happy and coming back. And that's my main function, to make sure that when they're done with their audits, they're satisfied with Lonza and they're going to continue to come back and give us that business. Part of being in this role, in the audit management role, is that I also get to work with everyone across the site. So I have the opportunity to see media area, to see the LAL operations, to work with our QC team. So it gives me an opportunity to really learn the site and be able to support it in the best way that I can. But why Lonza? That's the big question. That's kind of what everyone's been talking about here today. And I guess for me, you can say, yes, I am the old lady of the group in Lonza work years. Lonza pretty much raised me professionally. I've been with the company for 18 years. And when I started, I was in quality control. I started out in the microbiology department, so doing IDs, doing environmental monitoring, and then I kept moving across QC, into mycoplasma testing. I did some PCR testing. Eventually landed in the sterility laboratory, where I eventually moved up into a supervisory role, as Cheryl had mentioned before. And that really gave me a lot more knowledge and a lot more opportunity for growth. So when the time came and the quality compliance role came across my lap, and with Cheryl's blessing, I was able to move on and into a different role that can help better, support the site. And it was a hard decision. It's tough when you leave something you love and something you know. And QC and the lab environment is always going to be in my heart. But I wanted to spread my wings a little bit and challenge myself. And this role came across my lap and I just couldn't pass it up. And the best part about it is that, yes, I was leaving QC, but I wasn't leaving my people. I wasn't leaving the team that I had been working with for years. And, Cheryl stuck with me again. She's my interim boss right now too. So she couldn't get rid of me no matter how hard she tried. But Lonza really is a family, and their support means the world. And as Cheryl had mentioned before, and as other people had reiterated, that opportunity is a big part of Lonza. We want to make sure our people stay. We want to make sure our people grow. We want to give you the opportunities to go where you want to go, so that way you can feel fulfilled, both professionally, and personally. And that is one of the most amazing things that I can say about Lonza. And I've been fortunate to have some amazing mentors and some amazing colleagues along the way that have helped to support me to get me into the positions that I am today. And we certainly are so pleased and so lucky to have so many amazing people in Lonza. So as Cheryl said, we have many opportunities across the quality organization. So if it's something that you're interested in, please make sure to reach out to any of us, and please make sure to pop any questions during the Q&A session, because we'd be happy to answer them for you. And maybe with a little luck, you'll become part of the Lonza family too. Okay, so without further ado, I want to pass you off to my dear friend, my former QC coworker, and our fantastic EHS specialist, Wankina Thomas.
Thank you, Allison. So like Allison already mentioned, well, first of all, Allison is one of my favorite people at Lonza. So yeah, we were teammates, and she was my supervisor for a little while. And she really taught me most of what I know when it comes to laboratory skills. So thank you, Allison. So as Allison said, my name is Wankina Thomas, and I am currently the Senior EHS Specialist, that's Environment, Health, and Safety Specialist at Lonza. Some of you may have heard one of Lonza's slogans quite a bit today, and that is Lonza is the place to go, stay, and grow. So for the next 5 minutes, I will talk to you about my go, stay, and grow journey, and hopefully by the end of this event, you all will be able to see why you should come, stay, and grow with us here at Lonza. So let me start with my go phase. 9 years ago, I came to Lonza as a QC Analyst 2 in the QC Sterility and Mycoplasma labs. While working in that department, I developed the foundation to my career. All of my advanced lab skills and every technique I developed were developed in those laboratories. I even started honing my business acumen. And while working in QC, I was able to finish my master's degree in biotechnology and biodefense. And naturally after that, I started looking for new jobs. So although I enjoyed working in the laboratory, I just knew that I wanted something different, and I wasn't exactly sure what that was, but I knew it was something different. And here's where I get into my stay phase. So even though I interviewed for all of these other jobs, an EHS specialist position came up at Lonza, and I interviewed. I really didn't have any EHS experience, but I knew that I was a fast learner and I was up for the challenge. So I was the only candidate who interviewed who did not have EHS experience. So I was pleasantly surprised when I was offered the position. At that time, I decided to stay at Lonza because I really enjoyed working with the people I was around, but also I took pride in the fact that my company chose me because they could see potential in me. And now let's talk about my grow phase. So getting into the EHS position was growth. And it didn't stop there. I continued to grow in this position. Lonza sent me to several outside trainings to help me develop as a safety professional. And the position required that I interact with every single department at the site, as well as corporate leaders and outside vendors. And this brought out what inside of me, what I always knew what was inside of me, and that was the passion and the ability to connect with people. And after 3 years in EHS, I was promoted to senior EHS specialist. As a senior EHS specialist, my day can pretty much include creating and managing EHS programs that helps the site strive toward an injury-free workplace. I oversee EHS trainings and programs like the Bloodborne Pathogen Program and also Lonza's Medical First Responders. I ensure that the site is in compliance with state and federal regulations. And most importantly, I promote positive safety messages and a proactive safety culture to keep everyone safe at work. What does a typical day look like for me? A typical day for me can be as unpredictable as when Kanye West decided to run for president in 2020. I might have some chill days that only require administrative work, like performing risk assessments on new equipment to determine safety risk, or providing safety training during new hire orientation. And then some days are not so chill, like the time I responded to a visitor having a heart attack on site because I'm a Lonza first responder, or the time a fire alarm went off at 5 p.m., which is the absolute worst time for any type of alarm to go off. So I had to conduct an evacuation while most people were just trying to get out of Dodge. That was a lot of fun. And I should also mention that all of these events took place in the 2020 BC era. That's before COVID. So throw COVID-19 in the mix and things really start to get interesting. So now I have some new responsibilities because we want to go the extra mile by protecting our employees while they're on site during this time. So I help manage the area where we provide recurring COVID-19 testing. And I also help to communicate new guidelines and precautions that reduce the risk of employees catching COVID. Essentially, I love my job because not every day is the same. So I really have a good balance of adventurous and uneventful. I even get to have a little fun by participating in Lonza's first Toastmasters Club, where I serve as president. That group is all about teaching public speaking and leadership skills. And then I also enjoy my time on the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and that's where we obviously try to promote diversity and inclusion at the site. But most importantly, I really love the people at Lonza. Lonza people are like my second family, honestly. And in the time that I've been here, I've acquired 3 godchildren. So as you can imagine, shopping for birthdays are absolutely taking a toll on my wallet. So I need a promotion just because of that. In conclusion, if you guys are considering working for Lonza, please consider the benefit of working with great people. Consider the fact that this company is helping others. And most importantly, consider that you can truly come, stay, and grow. If you guys would like to connect with me, you can find me on LinkedIn, and I will hand it back to Adam, who will conduct our Q&A session.
Wow. Thank you, Ankina, and to the rest of the team at Lonza. I think there was a reason they put you last, Ankina. They brought in the closer. This has been fantastic. A real Lonza knowledge bomb, if you will. I feel like we have around 70 people still on with us. You all really addressed, almost 40 questions were answered today. Every different aspect of what it's like working at Lonza for particular roles in particular departments, the culture. So can't thank you enough for that. For us here at Biobuzz, it's really important as a community to serve as the resource for the region and the greater industry, to share the important work that's happening locally and the people doing the work. So thank you again for joining us here today, answering all these questions. I think I've been trying to keep track of all the questions that have been asked, and it looks like right now we don't have any, and we're we're a little bit over time for people that might have allotted for one as an end time today. So we'll keep an eye real quick on the Q&A, but what I want to finish off with, and I think you all have done a great job, so just feel free to jump in if you'd like to, but what it's like working at Lonza that makes it a great place to take your career. If there's just in like a 10, 20-second statement that you just want to really share with people again, I mean, I think you've done a fantastic job of sharing throughout this event. And again, there's no questions left. We haven't had an event where we've answered that many questions and there's none at the end. So just really love to hear that from you. If anyone feels like sharing again, why you should bring your career to Lonza, that would be fantastic. Any takers?
Sure, I'll go.
Awesome.
So if I was asked that, I would say that Lonza is a great place to take your career because we have a progressive management team where safety, quality, and our people truly matter. We are a family and we're making a difference one step at a time.
Wonderful. Anyone else care to share?
Sure, I'll add something additional. So a lot of people like to ask the question about the culture. What is the culture like there? What is the culture like in the departments? But personally, I feel I'm huge on culture, whether it's within a department or company as well. I feel like the culture is built amongst the people, not necessarily with the company. The company can try, but the people are what's going to actually drive it. So I think that plays a major part when you're bringing in people to make sure they fit within your team. So I feel like culture is mainly is about the people. And I think during this event, you're able to get an idea of the people that work at Lonza, even from a personal level. We're not robots, we're real people. We all get along, I think. And I feel the people are great here. Again, I've been here a year. I'm kind of a newbie. I've been in a couple other places, and I can honestly say I really enjoy working with the people here. Management is awesome. And I mentioned HR before, but yeah, I love the people. The culture is great, I would say. So yeah.
Well said. Yeah, if this panel is any indication of what it's like working at Lonza, I'm really excited. I'm sure the rest of the attendees here today are as well. Before we jump off, I'd love to give anyone else a last chance to say, why someone should consider bringing their career to Lonza. I think I loved Fred earlier saying why you came back, but any last comments there from the panel?
Maybe I have a last comment. It's really an exciting event. I really love it. And to the question why you should come is think whether you really want to make a difference. And if you think you want to make a difference from a career perspective and doing that together with engaged, very knowledgeable, and nice and funny people, then that's exactly the place you want to be.
It's fantastic. Well, I thank you all again. You've done such a wonderful job today. I hope everyone had the questions answered and found value in this event. We will be sharing a survey after the fact, and I encourage you to visit Biobuzz. We'll be sharing this recording. We'll be sharing other content around Lonza. We have some additional content that's available through biobuzz.io. And we'll be making sure to reach out and get in touch with you and follow up. Keep an eye on social media like LinkedIn. Reach out to the panelists through LinkedIn or email. They've certainly made it clear that they're available for you. So thank you all for the time today, both to the speakers and the attendees. We look forward to answering your questions in the future and hope you have a wonderful day. And with that, we'll be concluding today's event. Thank you so much, and we look forward to speaking to you in the future.